My Weird School Days, Book Number 8. Miss Laney is Zany. Written by Dan Gutman. Pictures by Jim Pelot. Chapter 9. Plays are boring. The next day, me and Ryan were walking up the front steps to school. "Maybe Miss Laney isn't a real speech teacher," said Ryan. "Maybe she's just some crazy person who loves game shows." "Yeah," I said. "Maybe she kidnapped her real speech teacher and locked her in a grass hut on a desert island. Stuff like that happens all the time, you know." When we got to Mr. Granite's class, two guys in overalls were taking the whiteboard off the wall. "What's going on?" Mr. Granite shouted. "Sorry, pal," the guys said as they carried the whiteboard away. "Budget cuts." "Mr. Granite, you've got to do something," Emily said. "I don't want to rock the boat," said Mr. Granite sadly. "What boat?" I didn't get the chance to ask why everybody's always talking about boats, because guess who came running into the door at that moment? Nobody, because if you ran into a door, it would hurt. But guess who came running into the doorway? It was Miss Laney. She had a laundry bag over her shoulder. "I just thought of how we can save the school," Miss Laney shouted excitedly. "We can put on a play. People would pay to get in. All your parents and friends would come. We could make $1 million. "I love plays," said the girls. "I hate plays," said the boys. "Plays are boring," I said, "especially plays where people start singing for no reason." "It doesn't have to be a musical," Miss Laney said. "We can put on a Shakespeare play." "I love him," said Andrea. "Over the summer I memorized the complete works of Shakespeare." "What is Andrea's problem?" Miss Laney assured me. "In fact, Romeo and Juliet is a very violent story. At the end, Juliet stabs herself and dies. Andrea should play Juliet," I said. "Arlo, that's mean," Andrea said. "And Romeo drinks poison and dies," Mr. Granite added. "Well, Andrea should play him too," I suggested. "You can't have the same person play Romeo and Juliet," Emily said. "We have to hold auditions," Miss Laney said. "That will make it fair." She dumped out her laundry bag and made us put on weird clothes with puffy shoulders that nobody in their right mind would ever wear. At least I got a sword, which was cool. Then Miss Laney passed out scripts and made us each read a line out loud. Good night, Michael said. "Parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say good night till it be morrow." "What's in a name?" said Emily. "That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet." "See how she leans her cheek upon her hand," said Neil the Nude Kid. "Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand, that I might touch that cheek." After we all read a few lines, Miss Laney made her decision. "Andrea will be Juliet, and AJ will be Romeo," she announced. "I knew it!" "Ooh," Ryan said. AJ and Andrea are going to be Romeo and Juliet. They must be in love. When are you gonna get married? Asked Michael. If those guys weren't my best friends, I would hate them. Miss Laney gave out the rest of the parts, and then we had to start rehearsing. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, Andrea said. Wherefore art thou, Romeo? I'm right here, dumbhead, I replied. That's not the line, Arlo, Andrea said, rolling her eyes. We practiced the play for a long time when suddenly, guess who walked into the room? It was Mr. Klutz. To what do we owe the pleasure of your company, Mr. Klutz? Asked Miss Laney. Did you get $1,000,000 to save the school? Asked Michael. No, Mr. Klutz replied. It looks like we missed the boat. What boat? Why is everybody always talking about boats? Do you have more bad news for us? Asked Mr. Granite. Yes, Mr. Klutz said sadly. I'm very sorry to tell you this, but Miss Laney, you're fired. What? Everybody freaked out. Andrea collapsed on the floor and started sobbing. Oh, woe! A woeful, woeful, woeful day, she said. Never was seen so black a day as this. A woeful day. Chapter 10. A Surprise Assembly. We couldn't believe it. Miss Laney had just been hired, and now she was fired. It took us about a week to get over the shock. Teachers were getting fired left and right that week. Mrs. Yonkers, the computer teacher, was the next to go. Then Miss Coco, the gifted and talented teacher, got fired a few days later. Even our vice principal, Mrs. Jaffe, lost her job. It was depressing saying goodbye to them all. We were in class when Mrs. Patty announced that everybody had to go to the all-purpose room for a surprise assembly. When we got there, Mr. Klutz was up on the stage. He looked serious. Nobody was cracking jokes. I just wanted to say how proud I am of you kids, he told us. You've been working very hard to raise money to save the school, but it wasn't enough. I'm very sad to tell you that today is my last day at elementary school. I just got fired. No, we all shouted. Mr. Klutz couldn't be fired. How can you have a school with no principal? Everybody was freaking out. That's when the most amazing thing in the history of the world happened. Mrs. Patty came running into the all-purpose room. Turn on the TV, she shouted. Turn on the TV. We hardly ever get to watch TV at school. The custodian, Miss Lazard, wheeled a big TV on the stage and turned it on. Welcome back to Win Money or Eat Bugs. I'm your host, Dickie Blinkbarker. The studio audience cheered. That's my favorite show, I yelled. The TV camera pulled back. There was a lady sitting in a chair. She had dark hair. I leaned forward to see the TV better. The lady was Miss Laney. Miss Laney's on TV! We all started shrieking. Miss Laney's on TV! Everybody was yelling and screaming and freaking out. Okay, Miss Laney won $10,000 in round one, said Dickie Blink Barker, and she didn't have to eat a single bug. Yay! We all shouted. I hear you're a speech teacher, Miss Laney, and you love game shows. Yes, Dickie, said Miss Laney, and I want to say hi to all the kids at elementary school. That's who I'm playing for today. Every dollar I win goes directly to the school. She waved at the camera. We waved back at the TV screen. That's fantastic, said Dickie Blink Barker. Miss Laney, you know the rules to win money or eat bugs. You can eat one bug at the start of round two and walk away with the $10,000 you already won. Or you can keep going. But if you get a question wrong from now on, you'll lose the money you won. And you'll have to eat a whole plate full of bugs. Ew! Everybody said when they showed a plate full of bugs. The questions get harder in round two, Dickie added. So what do you want to do? Eat the bug, some kids yelled. Keep going, other kids yelled. I'm going to keep going, Dickie, said Miss Laney. I want to win $1 million. Miss Laney is gonna win enough money to save our school, Michael shouted. Yay! Mr. Klutz made the shut up peace sign with his fingers so we could hear. Okay, she's going to risk it all, said Dickie Blink Barker. Here's your first question, Miss Laney. What is the longest word in the English language? Oh no, I whispered to Michael. Nobody knows that. Miss Laney's gonna have to eat all those bugs, said Miss Laney. That's right, Dickie Blink Barker yelled. Hardly anybody knows that. Miss Laney, you just won $50,000. Yay! Next question, said Dickie Blink Barker. Why are manhole covers round instead of square? I had no idea why manhole covers were round. I was sure Miss Laney would get it wrong and have to eat a plate full of bugs. Square manhole covers would fall into a manhole, said Miss Laney. Round ones can't. That's right, shouted Dickie Blink Barker. Miss Laney, you just won $100,000. Yay! She's gonna win $1 million. She's gonna win $1 million. Everybody was jumping up and down and hugging each other. You should have been there. Okay, here's your final question, Miss Laney, said Dickie Blink Barker. This would put you over the top. For $1 million, what is the science of sound called? Acoustic, I yelled. Acoustics, yelled Andrea. Miss Laney is going to win $1 million. Said Miss Laney. Acoustics! Everybody screamed, as if Miss Laney could hear us through the TV. She doesn't remember, I groaned, slapping my head. She's got brain freeze, groaned Ryan. Gee, said Dickie Blink Barker. I never heard of a speech teacher who was speechless. I know the answer, said Miss Laney frantically. It's on the tip of my tongue. Buzz. Oh, Everybody groaned. "I'm so sorry, Miss Laney," said Quynh Barker. "The correct answer is acoustics. Speaking of the tip of your tongue, bring out the bugs." Chapter 11. Ugh, disgusting. We all watched the TV. Some lady wearing a bathing suit came out carrying a plate. The camera zoomed in for a close-up, and you could see all these disgusting bugs slithering around on it. I thought I was gonna throw up. This had to be the saddest day in the history of the world. Miss Laney didn't win $1 million. She didn't save the school. And now she would have to eat a plate full of bugs. Some of the first graders were crying. "Eat bugs! Eat bugs!" the studio audience chanted. "Before you eat the bugs," said Quynh Barker, "is there anything you'd like to say to the folks out there in TV land, Miss Laney?" "Yes, there is, Dickie," Miss Laney said. She turned to the camera and it moved in for a close-up. "Hey kids, do you have trouble saying the letter S? When you say the word lion, does it come out like wyin? Do you stutter or lisp? Don't feel bad. You're not alone. Millions of kids just like you have the same problem. But you're in luck. With the help of Miss Laney's amazing zany, brainy, no-painy speech fixer-upper, you'll be able to say hard words like February, words like refrigerator, nuclear, and duct tape. You'll be able to say every word in the English language. In a few short weeks, you'll be talking perfectly. It's simply amazing. But it's not available in stores. Go to www.misslaneyizany.com and order now. Miss Laney's amazing zany, brainy, no-painy speech fixer-upper is only $19.99. But wait, there's more. Miss Laney did her whole infomercial on national TV. "I'm going to go check Miss Laney's website," Mrs. Patty yelled. She ran to the front office, which is next to the all-purpose room. On TV, Miss Laney finished her infomercial. Then she picked up a spider and ate it. "Ew!" we all screamed. "Orders are pouring in like crazy," Mrs. Patty shouted from the front office. On TV, Miss Laney ate an ant. "Ew!" we all screamed. "So far, there are $20,000 worth of orders," shouted Mrs. Patty. On TV, Miss Laney ate some flies. "Ew!" we all screamed. $50,000 in orders so far," shouted Mrs. Patty. On TV, Miss Laney ate a beetle. "Ew!" we all screamed. "It's up to $100,000, shouted Mrs. Patty. On TV, Miss Laney ate a worm. "Ew!" we all screamed. $500,000, shouted Mrs. Patty. On TV, Miss Laney ate a cockroach. "Ew!" we all screamed. $1,000,000, shouted Mrs. Patty. She sold $1,000,000 worth of her speech program. "That means elementary school can stay open," I hollered. "Miss Laney saved the school." Everybody was yelling and screaming and jumping up and down and going crazy. On TV, Miss Laney finished all the bugs on the plate. "You've been a good sport, Miss Laney," said Dickie Blink Barker. "Even though you didn't win, here's a check for $1,000 just for playing Win Money or Eat Bugs." "Thank you, Dickie," said Miss Laney. "But we're not done yet," Dickie said. "You can keep the money, or you can have what's behind the curtain." The lady in the bathing suit stood in front of the curtain. "Take the money," some kids shouted. "Pick the curtain," other kids shouted. "I'll take what's behind the curtain, Dickie," said Miss Laney. "Okay, let's see what she won," said Dickie Blink Barker. The curtain opened, and you'll never believe in 1,100 years what was behind it. "I'm not gonna tell you." Okay, I'll tell you. It was a boat. Dickie Blink Barker and Miss Laney climbed into the boat and pretended to row it, even though there wasn't any water. "We're on a boat," they said. It was hilarious. So, to make a long story short, our school doesn't have to close after all. Maybe all the teachers who got fired will get their jobs back. Maybe Mr. Granite will get his desk and whiteboard back. Maybe they'll put back the salad bar and the monkey bars. Maybe Miss Laney will get a regular office instead of a bathroom. Maybe it will have a pool table in it, so she can get some good cue sticks. Maybe Miss Laney will give us a ride in our new boat. Maybe Mr. Klutz will grow some hair. Maybe I can go to speech class every day. Maybe I'll figure out why everybody is always talking about boats for no reason. But it won't be easy.